As a Kanye West fan, sometimes we find ourselves playing mental gymnastics to excuse the nonsense this man does. Like, bro, you don't understand. He's just taking the flag back the same way that we did with the N-word. Or, nah, bro, he didn't mean slavery was a choice. He didn't mean it like that. Nah, bro, you don't understand, bro. But this is vile. That term was used in direct opposition when, like, we were protesting black people being slaughtered on camera like cattle. That right there is just disgusting. But what's almost as bad is that, Kanye, you have become corny. You aren't being unpredictable and brave, or like kind of an a-hole, but like, you're telling the truth. You're predictable. And the fact that you're willing to use black rage so people could check out your little fashion show in Paris is lame. I'm good off here, bro.
Kanye West made a statement with this White Lives Matter shirt, and here's how people have been reacting. It's King Asante, and let's talk about it. Kanye West wore a White Lives Matter shirt at a surprise Yeezy show. He was also pictured with Candace Owens, who's pretty prominent in the Conservative Party. I feel like the majority of people were just shocked when they saw this. Jaden Smith tweeted out saying, "I can't stand behind what Kanye's saying. He does not have the full support of the youth." And then tweeted out Black Lives Matter. Lil Duval said, "I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye dressed as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween." Another person said in quotes, "Maybe this Kanye guy isn't too bad." And many people thought that he was trolling. This person said, "He's obviously trolling, guys, let's calm down." And there's a lot of people out there saying that they will no longer support Kanye because of this.
What? That's right, girl. I told you. When he get on, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl. What, you want, a Barbie? What about all of this? You just want some What about the ass?
Kanye West wore a shirt that says White Lives Matter on the back at his Yeezy fashion show. The show was in Paris and debuted his Season 9 Yeezy collection. The front of his shirt shows an image of Pope John Paul II and the words Seguiremos tu ejemplo. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that, but the words translate in English to "We will follow your example." Kanye was joined in wearing a White Lives Matter shirt by none other than conservative Candace Owens. The shirt was the same from the front and the back, except hers was white and Kanye's was black. As you can imagine, there were a lot of reactions to Kanye's fashion choice. This person on Twitter wrote, "Kanye West making black models wear White Lives Matter shirts is a culmination of his anti-blackness and his immersion in white supremacy ideologies and methods. Disgusting." And it's a picture of one of his models wearing the same shirt. This person wrote, "So many folks are trying to excuse Kanye wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt as just a troll move or marketing. Maybe it is, but it's a dangerously dumb message to send for someone with his massive platform. I've been off, dude, but y'all go ahead labeling his foolishness as genius." I agree with this tweet that says this is all that needs to be said in regards to Kanye West and his White Lives Matter shirt. One person commented, "Do white lives not matter?" And this person had the perfect response, in my opinion. They wrote, "We don't need a reminder of the worth of white lives. America is a shrine to the worth of white people. This message is reactionary to a message affirming the worth of black lives, which have never been worth anything in America. In its intent, it's a white supremacist notion, because it posits that we can't have a conversation about the worth of black people without having a conversation about the worth of white people, which is insane. The notion that it always has to be about white people in America is incredibly frustrating, emotionally draining, and the whole problem. But here's Kanye apparently centering that notion. Let me know your thoughts down below. Kanye West is doubling down on his White Lives Matter statement. He posted a picture of the shirt on Instagram, writing, "Here's my latest response when people ask me why I made a tee that says White Lives Matter. They do." I don't understand how Kanye West could repeatedly send out this message, say that Black Lives Matter is a scam, when Black Lives Matter stemmed from police brutality against black people, which is very much still alive, especially in America. The thing is, we don't need a reminder that white lives matter. Historically and present day, white people have always mattered. Society doesn't need that reminder. What we do need is the reminder that black lives do matter. When society, the government, police forces, even hospitals aren't treating black people the same as white people, that's why we need the reminder that black lives matter. To wear a White Lives Matter shirt, even if it's as a joke, it's not a fucking joke. It's so disrespectful on so many levels, especially to the families of those who have been brutally murdered by police officers as black men and women. If Kanye or whoever else can't understand that, I honestly don't know what to tell you. Please let me know your thoughts down below.
Elijah McClain, Trayvon Martin, Wendell James Allen, Sharice Francis, Rekia Boyd, Tamon Robinson, Sharmel Edwards, Chantel Davis, Reynaldo Cuevas, Jordan Russell Davis, Melissa Williams, Timothy R. Russell, Dion Flood, Andy Lopez, Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown Jr., Ezel Ford, Laquan McDonald, Tamir Rice, Natasha McKenna, Walter Lamar Scott, Freddie Gray Jr., Sandra Bland, Samuel Dubose, Christian Taylor, Corey Lamar Jones, Jamar O'Neill Clark, Gregory Gunn, Philandro Castile, Sylville Smith, Terrence Crutcher, Keith Lamont Scott, Charlena Lyles, Charles Smith Jr., Stephon Clark, Botham Jean, Atatiana Jefferson, Eric Lurie, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, David McAtee, Casey Goodson Jr., Andre Hill, Dolal Id, Andrew Teague, Dante Wright, Miles Jackson, Micaiah Bryant, Winston Boogie Smith, Amir Locke, Patrick Loyoya, Jalen Walker, Donovan Lewis, and many, many more. You have a responsibility. All people who are not part of the Black community, all we can do is uplift the voices that want to be heard, that want to feel safe, that deserve to live a life of dignity and security and safety. And I don't care about the artistic explanation. I don't care about the motives. You're undoing work. Work people risk their lives for. It's selfish. It's selfish. And to say that it's in the name of art is cowardly.
That's what she said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
Let's talk about the commodification of Black trauma. Kanye West's White Lives Matter t-shirt. People may think he's trolling, they may attribute it to his mental health. Although I personally don't know what his intentions were when he wore this t-shirt, I do think it needs to be spoken about. Black Lives Matter is a human rights movement. It was born out of the pain, the trauma, and the injustice that the Black community face. White Lives Matter was a rhetoric established to minimize and invalidate the lived experience of the Black community. Why does he take such a horrible statement and he uses it for his own gain? White Lives Matter has been a justification for people not fighting for the equal rights of Black people. It has been a term for pain for people from the Black community, activists, campaigners, and advocates. It is not here for his gain. Whether he meant it or not, we all know that Candace Owens means it. Playing to this is so harmful.
I've got Kim K's reaction to this situation. A new report from Hollywood Life claims that Kim is utterly disgusted and utterly confused by Kanye's White Lives Matter t-shirts. Obviously, it is disgusting, but she's confused because he donated over $2 million to the families of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, and yet posts this morning. According to the Hollywood Life Insider, Kim lost it once she saw the picture of Kanye and Candace Owens wearing the White Lives Matter shirt. At the same time, apparently she wasn't very surprised and thinks it's all for attention. Despite that, she is not feeding into this. She thinks he made a horrible choice and that the message is obviously incredibly offensive.
Yeah, at this point, I take anything he does as stunts and shows to get people talking.
Kanye West and Candace Owens were wearing White Lives Matter t-shirts at his recent show that he's calling fashion. People are going to go wild with this. Remember when Kanye said slavery is a choice? Now, instead of saying that slavery was sort of a condition of the modern Black American mind and going into the nuance of it, he chose to actively use the word slavery is a choice, a sensationalist phrase. And a person in his position of power doesn't need to use sensationalism, so you would begin to wonder why he did it. Now, Kanye to me is someone who is obsessed with the optics of power. Not actual power, but the optics of it. And I do think that he's going to destroy something of the entertainment industry because he has a bad temper. And I think he knows secrets that he will reveal at some point. And I think it will kind of just undermine the entire fabric of the United States or society as a whole. I also am aware that he has mental health issues. But I want you to understand this, and I want to talk about this for a while. Everything that's in front of you that's as popular as Kanye West is there for a very specific reason. And I'll call it the global elite. but they use entertainment to control and program all of us. When you see someone like him, you should never think it's an organic event that's occurring, that he has an agreement with these people to perpetuate certain agendas. Every black leader, but let's think about it, most of these people are just entertainers. They're not equipped to lead in any way. That you see with such little pushback, you need to understand this is a controlled opposition to give you the illusion of progress, of freedom. It's not real. He's also standing side by side with a tool of white supremacy, Candace Owens. In my opinion, I believe she's a pundit. She's very much used to undermine the black community, and she has her own agreements, I'm sure. Never think that anything you see in the mainstream is there on accident, because if I had to take over control of the whole world, I would leave nothing to accident. Me and my friends would leave nothing to chance. This will be presented kind of ironically, sort of an all lives matter thing. Censorship will be brought up as a result. All of these things that really dilute a larger point. But I think, again, you should always ask why. Someone who has so much power and access, who is allowed and afforded the time to say an entire thought out loud, uses quippy phrases like this that really undermine large-scale movements that are incredibly important. White Lives Matter is not a necessary statement to say it's evident in the world that completely surrounds us. Using this kind of snarky irony is very irresponsible, I find. But I'm also not for censorship either. Cowards love censorship. Academia loves censorship. And academia is white supremacy. This also exhibits the way in which these elite that I'm discussing really believe, very foolishly, very narcissistically, that these two people represent us at all. I mean, the communities of color, the black community specifically. They are so out of touch that they thought drawing these two people together and doing this was going to cause some kind of an epic moment. It obviously falls flat, but it also makes me incredibly curious as to what the further intention of it is. I haven't figured that out. I'll have to see people's reaction. Then we have other rappers, I don't even know, some dirtbag, don't know his name, Bootsy, something like that, saying that we're going to revoke his black card. Again, another entertainer who's actively plundering black society, stepping up and saying that he has some kind of control or power over things, when he doesn't. That is us here in the real world, because what we're trying to change is the real world. It's not the fantasy land that these people live in. While we're at it, I want to get to Mariah Carey and Meghan Markle talking about light skin privilege, we'll say. Why did we all need two women who have essentially climbed the ivory tower to tell us something that we all already know, that we've been telling each other? We should stop outsourcing our authority to people who don't deserve it.
This is a reminder that no one hates Kanye West more than Kanye West hates himself. Because really, with Candace Owens, really, wow, we've reached a new low.
In other news, Kanye wore a White Lives Matter shirt at his fashion show, and there's that. I don't really know what to say about this. I know some people were kind of taken aback, but this felt on brand for Kanye. I was not shocked when I saw this at all. I don't even feel fazed by his antics anymore. It just feels like, okay, another day, another Kanye controversy to add to the list. Everyone will move past this, and then in the next, 2 to 6 months, he will do something else to get people talking, to get people riled up, to get people to write think pieces, and we will do this cycle all over again. I know Kanye's pivot has been jarring for some fans because it feels like it's such a stark contrast from what he used to stand for. But as time has gone on and I've looked back at certain situations, now I am more of the opinion that Kanye is just a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian. I mean, this is a person that has admitted that he doesn't like to read books. Any of them, not even Green Eggs and Ham. He said reading is like eating Brussels sprouts for me. Mind you, ironically, much like reading, Brussels sprouts are actually delicious if you have good taste. But I digress. If everyone zigs, Kanye will zag, just because. If people are supporting George Bush, Kanye will say, actually, George Bush doesn't care about black people. If everyone hates Trump, Kanye will say, actually, I love him. Everyone's saying Black Lives Matter? Okay, well, I'll say White Lives Matter. You see what I mean? It all sort of centers around this contrarian opinion. If everyone's saying one thing, I'll do the opposite. If everyone's telling me to do something, I'll do the opposite.
I can't. I actually cannot. What is this Kanye West? Kanye West just unveiled his Yeezy Season 9 collection at Paris Fashion Week, and when I first saw this image, I dropped to my knees and prayed to the universe that this is not real. And I don't know why I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why I was surprised. And then this picture of Candace Owens and Kanye West dropped, and I knew that this was no longer up for interpretation. It is exactly what it looks like. The fact that he had black models walking down the runway with these shirts on. I pray that these models had a choice to walk in this fashion show. But knowing how agencies are, they don't care if you are booked, you better walk down the runway and wear what they are styling you in. I wish Kanye West would realize that he is so much more than a gimmick. He always has been and always will be, but I can't keep doing this with Yeezy. I can't keep doing this with Kanye West.
I would actually have preferred that he actually meant this. So for people who say he doesn't mean this, I'd actually prefer that he does. I'd actually prefer that he's like, hey, I feel like we live in a world where white people aren't getting enough attention. Because if that's the case, he's just stupid. But if he's doing this purposefully to antagonize, purposefully for attention, purposefully to troll black people, then Kanye West isn't stupid. He's evil. It's an evil thing to do for no reason on a Monday, just to have to wake up fucking mad. And how much of it are we gonna take?